Welcome back to another episode of Business is Pleasure. So, my name is John Francis. I am the co-owner of the Clarion Trading Company. We source, distribute vintage, contemporary, used, hype beasts. Any type of clothing that our clients want, we will source it for them. Guys, I'm about to warn you right now, I'm a little sick and under the weather. So I'm gonna sound really nasally. Plus, I might sneeze, but don't be alarmed, okay? So every week on Business Pleasure, we take some time to review our previous week, what's going good, what's not going so well, and just how the dynamic between Colin and I are coming along. So this is a time for us to vent and also to repent. I don't know, it rhymed, so I decided to say that. But the way we always start off Business Pleasure is, how was your week?
My week was good.
Sorry to interrupt you, babe. This is a really monumental episode for us, guys. This is episode 40. We initially told ourselves that we wanted to do 40 episodes last year, but things happen. Sometimes you gotta shoot for the stars so you still land in the clouds. And we're happy that we're on episode 40 in the first month of January. So I think we're still on great pace to be consistent and to constantly give out good content to you guys. Let me get a high five, babe. I'm happy. Great job. Keep up the good work, babe. Love you.
You too. Love you too.
So how was your week?
I can't remember.
Break it down. Take your time. Patience. Think.
My week
Wonder.
was good.
Okay.
I feel like I say it every time regardless, even if it's not good.
Yeah.
My week was good. What did I do? I finished the website, so we made like updates and changes to the website.
What do you think about the new updates so far?
I think they're good.
Did he end up changing those pictures as well?
Yeah,
Okay, nice.
he changed everything over. I think they're good. Honestly, when I saw the pictures that you took on the actual website, I feel like we need pictures with more color.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like when you look at it, the white didn't come out the greatest, but I didn't say that.
It's opening soon. So I guess only we can access the website? Because think about it, we still have to put clothes on, right? Which makes sense though, to be honest. Okay, go on though.
Okay,
What were you
that's
saying?
weird. But anyways, yeah, so yeah, I think like it's not like it doesn't have to be done now. But
Honestly, it's not even that serious, man. These are just like little icons. Like,
what did I just say?
no, I'm just saying like we don't even have to change them.
Okay. Anyways, what did I just say? I literally just said it doesn't need to be done now.
Yeah, but I'm saying like we probably don't, I'm probably not even gonna end up doing it, changing it at all. Like,
Okay, so what am I talking then?
No, you can talk, but like that's why we have these conversations, right? So we get a better understanding. Of what's going on.
We're not having this conversation so you can make a decision, right?
Yeah, but you already made that decision as well too. Like, oh, we're gonna change it. Like,
no.
Are you gonna take those pictures then?
Listen.
Like, go on, go take the picture then. Go on, no one. Go on.
Okay, stop.
Sometimes I like to be extra Jamaican, guys, but it's whatever. Go on.
Okay, so as I was saying, I feel like
Don't try to scoot away from me now. What
No,
are
I
you
don't
scooting?
want to
Why are you gonna
Move for me.
scoot?
Move.
Why are you scooting?
Move. I don't want you touching my leg.
Okay, I want to touch your leg. Don't worry. Shh, I'll do it to you later.
Okay, stop.
What's that? Are you saying though?
You have to cut that out.
No, I'm not cutting that out.
Anyway, so as I was saying,
See, I have your mind just all twirled up now, eh? So you're talking about the website.
The
about
website.
The white was a bit too
yeah, the
not
white.
enough.
It's not that it's not white enough. It just like on the background, it looks kind of weird. So I like the colored pictures came out really nice, but the white it just looks a little bit off in some of them. So as I was saying, maybe it's something that we should reassess or look at in the future.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's all I said.
Okay.
See how like we had communication, you didn't just make a decision right there.
I know. I think sometimes with myself, that's what like really hinders us in terms of communication. Cause I'll just jump the gun.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yo, what the heck? Like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing that.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Like, if I waited like 3 extra seconds, I would have like had a better understanding what you were talking about. But honestly, the thing was like, what bothers me sometimes is that like I feel as if like you bring up those issues because you know that you can't complete them for yourself. So it's more as if like you're placing a task onto me. Cause like let's be honest, you're not gonna take the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what like bothers me. You know what I mean?
Okay, but again, like I said, I never said it was something that we have to do absolutely right now or at any time. I'm just saying it's something we should consider.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's all I said.
Even though you're saying that now, but before you were saying
You didn't let me finish.
Before you were saying, "Oh yeah,
You
we should
never let
change
me
it."
finish.
We're gonna review the tape next time, and we're gonna see
Roll
that
the
you use
tape.
that. We're gonna put back
Roll
the
the
tape.
tape.
We're gonna see that you're like, "Oh, we need to change this. I don't like the way it looks."
Roll the tapes.
But regardless, like, of course, if I have some extra time, like, we'll make it
Roll
work or
the
whatever.
tapes.
Babe, we're moving on from that. Like,
Okay,
relax.
so yeah.
Take a deep breath, babe. Relax. What's wrong with
Your
you?
hands are cold.
College that she
What are
worked
you gonna
at.
tell people about me now?
So college that she worked at, they were shut down for the day because we have this crazy snowstorm going on in Toronto. So she's not accustomed to like spending so much time with me. On this day Monday.
Yeah.
On Monday, usually this is like her 4-hour break from me. So right now she's on edge, guys. So it's okay.
I'm a
babe.
little on edge,
She's a
but
little
I'll
on edge.
survive.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty good. I got the website done, so that's something I checked off my list. So that was good. And then basically just like organizing all of our events that we have coming up for the most part. But other than that, that's about it. I had a dream that I went picnicking the other night.
What was that like? You know what's crazy? Like ever since I've been doing this full time, you haven't gone picking in like 4 or 5 months, right? Well, the other day you went with me the other day and you hated
And
it.
I hated it.
You hated it. Like, oh my god! Like she was picking like for 10 minutes and she's like, oh, are we almost done? Like, oh my gosh! Like, oh.
Honestly, it
She's
was
like, oh, the clothes are too far down. I can't reach the clothes. Oh my gosh! Oh.
okay. No,
Ugh.
it wasn't that. First off, I wasn't in my natural element. I'm used to like picking at like different places. Like, that place was cool to pick at, but like I was cold and like I was tired and I was hungry. Like those three things together don't work for me. So.
Yeah, just a bunch of excuses I hear though. Nothing
Okay,
else.
well, you're not feeling what I'm feeling, so it's fine.
No, I don't feel those excuses. I'm sorry.
They're not excuses. It was
Yeah.
a reality.
I'm Colin. I was so tired. I was hungry too, so I couldn't pick properly. But it was cool though, because we were still able to get like a bunch of like really nice pieces from there.
And then tell them about
Yo,
that.
this is the craziest part. So so when we go to the States, we start to realize like, hey, it kind of makes sense for us only to bring like the dopest vintage pieces that people will really, really be attracted to. Because one, we already have such a high bottom line going to the States because of like airfare, bus fare, food, right? There are all these different expenses that we kind of have to make back by doing the events. So we're like, yeah, we're gonna get the best pieces ever. So we went to this new place now and got some like really dope pieces. So we end up bringing maybe like 20 of those really like popular, I guess higher price point vintage pieces. And guess how much of them we were able to sell, guys?
So many.
Not one. The generic pieces that we would generally bring to the events, like a NASCAR tee, a Mickey Mouse tee, people were still attracted to those things, you know what I mean? And I think sometimes that's why it's like, when we do pick events, it's so difficult to understand the market because the market in Toronto might be extremely different from the market in Philadelphia. So if you don't have an understanding of your market, even though it's the same type of clientele, you can really be like held back if you don't understand who you're selling to.
And you know what I just thought of too? Because like when you were there, you said that a lot of the people that were doing like high-end streetwear were kind of just like mixing in like a little bit of vintage with their streetwear. So like when you think about it, at least for this time of year, it's easier to incorporate a little t-shirt than it is to incorporate like a big like Fila windbreaker with like big Fila like tricolor stripes all over it, you know what I mean, into your like hype beast or like high-end streetwear type of look, you know what I mean? Like having a t-shirt, putting like, I don't know, maybe like an off-white jacket over that and some like, I don't know, whatever shoes like they were, I don't know. But you know, with that, it's easier to like kind of blend all of that together than like say a big like flashier piece that someone say here that was like really, really into vintage would like, you know?
And I think that's one of the craziest things too, is that like there are different dynamics of people depending upon the event, depending upon the location as well too, right? So I think with us, like, it's all trial and error, right? Because we always get a better understanding of the market by actually going to the event, figuring out what people like. Because I'll definitely do that event again, but now it's more so going to be like more cognitive of like, okay, well, maybe the price points for like the off-white piece that we bring are a bit too high. So let's bring some Bape, because like Bape is something that like we necessarily don't love. But when I went to that event, not a lot of people were really selling Bape, you know what I mean? And I think Bape would have been a better price point, selling like an $80 to like $120 t-shirt compared to like an off-white t-shirt that's like $250, $260 USD.
Yeah, but then it's different here because whenever we bring Bape to events here, it collects dust.
Yeah, right? So that's why it really depends. That's why it's up to us to do our homework and really get educated on like which markets that we're in. Like, you know, because the Toronto market is totally different from the Detroit market, different from the New York market. So for us, it's like really just trial and error. Like, you know, and that's why I think like we've always said like, hey, we want like different price points. The vintage, of course, would be the lowest. Then like that middle price point, whether it's like Supreme, Bape, or like Comme des Garçons. Then we have the high price point, like the high end stuff, right? So I think like we should try to get like that middle that middle piece again. Not necessarily bait, but something that like, hey, I don't really want vintage, and I don't really want the super high end fashion stuff. Let's meet in the middle.
What about cause?
Cause? Yeah, Cause I think would have done like fairly well there. Yeah. Like I think Cause would have done well if we had some Supreme. That would have done fairly well. Supreme does well everywhere.
But like Supreme's more so higher priced, right?
Yeah, but it's not as high as like the Off-White, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so like, but I don't know. I think it's something that we constantly have to figure out, and constantly we're gonna be just like we're something that we're constantly gonna be bumping into. But the reality of it is like that is business. You know what I mean? You're always gonna find these little kinks in the road, and we gotta be like cognitive enough to realize what is working, what's not working.
Yeah.
Because like the Off-White does work, and it did sell, and a lot of people were interested in it. But it was just that like, that price point, you know what I mean? And I can definitely understand it, because like me personally, I'm not a huge fan of Off-White, but the client that we work with love it. So I gotta like bring it for them.
And I think like sometimes we have this perception that people who are like spending like $500-$600 on like one item, that like it's easy for them to afford. And like that's not always the case, especially when it comes to like clothing. Like yeah, we like to think that like clothing are necessities and we all need to buy, but like when it comes to something that's like high end like that, you don't need it. It's obviously 100%. A want. But even with that being said, like there are a lot of people who will like scrunch together any money that they have just to get that. You know what I mean? So like that's something that we have to keep in mind too. Like it's not always like people who can afford the clothing buying it. It's people who are like literally pulling all of their money together and being like, yeah, I'm spending like half a paycheck on this just because I want it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the hardest part is because like there are all these different socioeconomic issues that do come into play. For instance, it's like when we're in Vancouver now, those kids are just like filthy rich out there, so like the price necessarily isn't an issue. When we go to New York, it's such a diverse city that you have people who are like a bit standoffish because of the price, then you have people who are just balling as well too, right?
Yeah.
So then when you go to somewhere like Philadelphia, it's a new market for us, so like we're unsure of like what pieces we should bring and what the price points should be, because I think it's really important that like depending on your product, your price point should fit that market. You know what I mean? If you were online now and the market, of course, for a vintage tee is $20, sell for $20. But if you're in person now and the market is $15, you should sell for $15. You know what I mean? Of course, as long as you don't lose money, but like you kind of always have to like, the market dictates the price of the item. Just because we want to make $20 off a piece doesn't mean we're always gonna make $20 off a piece.
And I think like a lot of the times when like we go to events, we always like walk around and like we'll talk to other vendors and be like, hey, like what price are you selling this for? Not like blatantly,
but research.
But, like,
we're doing research.
Yeah, like we're like kind of doing a little bit of market research, because we don't want someone to be selling something for say like 200 and we're selling it for like 500.
Yeah, and we're not making any money.
And then exactly, or like worst case, like it just gives us a bad look, because they'll be like, oh, like they're selling it for this much, and then yeah, like it makes it seem like we're trying to rip them off, which is like obviously we're not, right? So like I feel like it's really important to do that for both like high end stuff and streetwear and like lower end vintage stuff. Yeah,
I think as long as we're not going through like economic hardship, like where we're losing money, we're not getting any money back, we should always like like fluctuate the prices depending on
there are times when like that's not even possible. Like remember when we went to that one event where our actual Off-White supplier was there, right?
Like, I don't know how we made money that day. Like, I don't know how we made money that day. Oh my God.
Our actual Off-White supplier was there, and they were selling their stuff, obviously, which was literally the exact same stuff that we had, and they were selling it for like what, like I don't know, like
30% less.
Yeah, 30-40% less than what we were.
Had, right?
And we were literally like 2 tables down.
No, like legit. I do not know. But like, you know what's crazy about that though? For us to actually, I think we ended up selling maybe like 5 pieces only of Off-White that day. For us to like get those people's sales, that's when it's really important for customer service and engaging with people, you know what I mean? Because if we were to sit there and just sulk the whole time and be like, oh fuck, like there's no point, like why are we even here? We wouldn't even got anything, you know? We still turned a profit, still got a couple new connects. So I think that's always important. And that's one thing I was really trying to focus on in Philadelphia as well. Because like the first hour, like we sold like a bunch of pieces. I was like, oh crap, this isn't gonna be bad. Then the second hour I was like, okay guys. Third hour I was like, oh. Then of course the end, it starts to pick up again, right? Because people want those last minute deals. But it's like through that whole experience, I still had to engage with people. I still had to give out cards. Because whenever you go to an event, you don't want to go there and not gain anything out of it, you know? You still want to be able to like showcase the company and also just like make connections, make people. And like, you know, like I took some videos, some pictures. So making content, like you have to make it worthwhile.
And a lot of the times, like not the majority, but a huge component of an event is just like networking, interacting with people, showing them your face, like when you got there, like I heard a bunch of people like saying, "Hey, welcome back."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's a good, even if you don't end up like selling as much as you would like, because obviously that is the goal. Like giving out cards, interacting with people is obviously like a really important thing.
Showing
to do
face,
as well.
man. You gotta show face.
Yeah.
That's really, really important. And even within that, I think like that's why it's important for us to like pick events accurately. Because I think right now when we're picking events, we're just basing it off where our clients, where we think our clients are going to be, you know what I mean? But then we also I think we should like now break that down as like, okay, what type of client is going to be there, you know what I mean? Like, yes, this is a vintage event. Are these like true vintage heads that really want like the old school Polo, the old school Ralph Lauren, or are these people just want good decent pieces at a discounted rate?
Yeah.
You know, so I think like with whatever market we are exposing ourselves to, we kind of have to do like a bit more of our homework to be like, okay, well, let's really curate it specifically for this market, you know?
And I think like at the same time, you'll only ever know so much, and like I think that's why a lot of the times it's really good to have variety too.
Yes,
when we are
yes,
going
yes.
to events, like you shouldn't just have like all t-shirts or all windbreakers or all whatever. Like it should be like a good mix of everything. And obviously when we're traveling, like we are limited to a certain extent because there's only so much that we can bring. But at the same time, I think like having more variety is better than not having enough.
No, 100%. And like that's one of the things I think is like I love about fashion, and I don't at the same time. There's so much variety, it's impossible to know what everyone wants, you know what I mean? But that's the reality of it, but that's on us. We have to figure that out. We have to make sure we're connected with our community to understand like, hey, like what do you guys want?
That's literally the whole purpose of a business.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like really like Instagram, because like sometimes when we do Free Friday, I'll message people. Well, I won't message people. I'll put like a question of the day out and be like, hey, like what products do you guys think we should carry now? And it's really interesting to see what people like. So a lot of people are like, oh well, Comme des Garçons. A lot of people are like, oh well, vintage Louis Vuitton. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's so much different variations that go into it, and it's like unfortunately we can't cater to everyone, but it's like, okay, well, if that piece does come across our eyes, yeah, of course we're gonna grab it, you know what I mean? So I think it's important. It's just that like we just have to be in tune with the demographic, have to be in tune with the people and what they want and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I think that's
once we're out of tune with that, we're not doing.
Yeah, we're not in business anymore, right?
Exactly.
I don't know. Every time we talk about that, I feel like we just go straight back to like when we initially started the business.
Yeah, we messed up.
You guys, honestly, you guys have probably heard this like 10 times already.
Messed
Like
up.
when we first started the business, guys, we had no idea what we were doing. We were so selfish and self-centered because we were just focused on the way we want to run the business, what we thought was best for Clarendon Co.
Yeah.
But what's best for Clarendon Co. is what our clients want.
Exactly.
And like sometimes we lost that at the beginning. And I remember like when we were starting to transition over into what our clients want, I think it was kind of hard for us because we're like, oh, are we being real? Are we being genuine to who we are?
Yeah, we felt fake. We felt like, I don't know, it's like we said like, yeah, I like this style forever, and then all of a sudden it's like
Switch up.
switch, like you
Like,
know,
like switch up.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? So like at a certain point where we're like, are we being true to ourselves? Are we like sellouts, even though like no one really cares that much?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know
No,
what
I think in terms of our like for us or like what we like, yeah, we definitely sold out. 100%.
But I think at the same time, yes, but I don't know, like it's business. Like at the end of the day, I stand behind
That's what our problem was.
Yeah.
We weren't thinking business wise.
yeah, like I
wise.
stand behind our product and I stand behind the quality of our product and its value and all of those things. Do I like every single style?
No.
But do I know that it's a good quality product that somebody is going to enjoy because they're buying it? Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's the good aspect about it. And that's what we're more so focused on. Like, I don't have to love it, but we better make sure our clients do.
Of course.
Is it going to be tattered? Is it going to be rugged? Is it going to be like in back edition? No. We're going to make sure it's the best quality product for that client.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to run a business.
Yeah.
Of course, it would be nice to only sell things that you do love and you do enjoy or whatever. But like, to be honest with you, like there's like 30% of the pieces that we get, we're like, oh, well, I'm not a huge fan of this, but like, I know that X, Y, and Z loves this. So let's get it for them.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like the mindset that we had initially was really naive of us in a sense because realistically, like, that's what business is. It's not like what is, you know, there you could be selling, I don't know, chocolate bars and be allergic to chocolate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make you a sellout. That just means that you know what other people enjoy and like. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person for selling something that you personally don't like, but you're providing people with what they do.
Yeah, because I'm sure not every CEO in McDonald's likes the hamburgers or like likes the fries. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe they're not the biggest fans of the milkshake, but like, you know, but like that's okay.
Yeah.
I definitely think that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we just kind of constantly just have to go through and just understand that through our business. Like, focus on the client, what the client wants, and that's what's most important. Staying on the idea of events, one thing that I like one thing that we've been able to do well is trying not to spend too much money when we go to events.
Yeah.
That's whether we're renting cars to go to an event, because that's an added expense.
Yeah.
Depending on how far the event is, do we want to maybe take a bus or do we want to fly?
Yeah.
And even like small things like buying food
Yeah.
or like purchasing other pieces of clothing or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like honestly we've gotten really, really good at being frugal. Like even back to like basics. Like before both of us used to go to the events and then we realized we don't really both need to be there. Like yeah, it's nice.
Especially when we do go like out of country and stuff.
Yeah, like yeah, it's nice. It's nice to travel together and stuff like that. But we don't both have to be there. So like right then and there, we save like some anywhere from like $200 to $500 to $600-$700 on a ticket, and then we honestly, when it comes to like accommodations, like you're staying in like the bare minimum.
Yeah, bare minimum. As long as there's Wi-Fi, I'm fine. I don't even need a bed. Just give me Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
As long as there's Wi-Fi, like I think you honestly you haven't stayed in the hostel yet, have you?
No. Like, we haven't taken that. But honestly, like the way they're set up, they're almost our hostels essentially.
Yeah, honestly, thank goodness for Airbnb because
no, most definitely.
they do a really good job at like providing really good places for a really fair and affordable amount. So that's always nice. And then yeah, in terms of like food, you try not to buy a whole ton of food or anything like that. It's not like you go.
It's an added expense.
It's an added expense, yeah. Like when it comes to like anytime I'm organizing the logistics for the event, I always make sure that I pick a location for him to stay at that's really close to where the actual event is, not just for like time but for money too. Like a lot of the times you're bringing stuff, carrying stuff, so you need to take an Uber. Like it's a big difference if it's a $30-$40 Uber or a $10 Uber, right?
No, 100%.
So like we try to look out for things like that, or proximity to like Walmart if we need to go there, or different places, making sure that everything's kind of close by, so it's not costing us too much to travel.
And I think like this is the realistic part of business that a lot of people don't focus on. A lot of times they focus on like, oh well, these guys are getting money. Oh well, these guys are traveling. But it's like, yes, that is true, but we're also sacrificing a lot as well. Even though they are small accommodations we're sacrificing, at the end of the day, it's about how much money you're saving. It's good to make a lot of money, of course, when we go to the events, but we always have to keep in mind that if we don't save money, we might as well it was like pointless for us to even go to these events, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there are aspects of business where a lot of people don't talk about, and they think it's all like roses, like, oh wow, look, these guys are always traveling, da da da. It's like, yeah, we are, but we're also doing the bare minimum as well too, just to ensure that the expenses are low, so our profit margins can be so much higher, you know?
Yeah. If you really want to know the bare minimum, remember our Greyhound?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the real bare minimum. So one time we took a Greyhound from here to somewhere else, okay? Did the event, came back the same night, took a Greyhound back the same night just so we wouldn't have to
use an Airbnb or
use an
extra
Airbnb.
money.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. It's like, yo, if you want to save money, you'll get creative.
Yeah.
And we got extremely creative, you know what I mean? But it was so fun though, because like we ended up like chilling for a bit. We got some good food.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And we literally slept for like 8 hours straight on the bus. And when we woke up, we're like, oh, we're in Toronto. We're like, oh, this is nice. It was the best. Like, you know what I mean? I think like just the ride back was so worth it because it's like you didn't notice it.
And honestly, I felt like so, I don't know, I felt like we were like like
we're rugging it.
Yeah,
we're roughing it.
We're just like cowboys, just like traveling, you know, backpacking with our luggage, you know, like it was fun. It was fun. And to like look back on it, it's a nice and like nostalgic thing to think about that we did for our business, you know.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like I think like stories are like that are what are gonna allow us to resonate with people because it's authentic. It's true, it's honest, you know what I mean? And we're not always just showing the glamorous aspect of running a business. It's like a lot of the time you kind of have to not necessarily cut corners, but cut costs to figure out what's best for the business, you know? Yeah. If we want to, we could have flew down there, got a nice little hotel, and like, you know what I mean?
Gone out to like a nice restaurant.
You know what I mean?
But it's like, why?
Like, why? For what? Or whatever, you know what I mean? And especially like when this business is like helping us build to the next stage of our financial goals, we really have to cut costs and sacrifice as much as possible now, right?
And I know like those sacrifices are gonna come in handy one day, you know?
No, and that's the one thing that we've realized about like sacrificing is like they always do. Sacrificing is always purposeful. It's always for something.
There's always a reason.
Like, you know what I mean? There was something that I was watching, there was a quote that I saw today, I'm probably gonna mess it up. It was like, you either have to sacrifice something, you either have to go through the pain of not having something or the pain of discipline. That's like crap. I don't have the pain of discipline, like, you know what I mean? Forcing yourself to constantly doing something over and over and over again to hopefully, and that's the one thing too, like we're hopefully gonna get there. Like none of this is for certain. And that's the thing in business, right? Like you're really like trying to be as strategic as possible so you do get that result.
But that thing about certainty, like it depends on you. Like if you don't make the sacrifices, if you don't take the actions to get whatever it is that you're trying to get, then it's obviously not going to happen.
No, 100%. Do you ever think we're making the right sacrifices? Because I know we are sacrificing, but like there's a difference between like sacrificing like, oh well, I want to lose weight, so I'm not going to eat past 8 o'clock. Is that like really a huge sacrifice, or should you just change your whole diet? You know what I mean?
I think we are, because we've seen the results. Like I think if we weren't making the right sacrifices, then our results wouldn't reflect how they reflect. You know what I mean? And I feel like if we want to get to the point where we both know we want to go, we probably are going to have to make even more sacrifices. Yeah. So I think like sacrifices are one of those things that if you measure it against results, it's really like useful because it's scalable, right? If you see like, okay, these sacrifices are giving me these results and I like those results, then what if I sacrifice this, 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 and this? What are my results going to be then?
No.
You know?
100%. And like that just shows what we were talking about. I think maybe last week, like relationships and consistency. Like, you know what I mean? Like we have to remain consistent no matter what. And sometimes we're gonna have to consistently sacrifice. Yeah, and that's the reality of it. Okay, I think that's everything that we want to cover this week. I'm not gonna ask you if you have any last words because you never do, and it makes me sad.
Sorry.
So I've learned my lesson. My last words for this week are thank you guys so much for 40 episodes strong. Hopefully we'll get to 80, then 160, and so forth and so forth. Again, consistency. That's one thing like we really want to focus on. And by you guys watching this, by commenting on this stuff, and just really like showing us that this information is useful. I think for me, hopefully I'm speaking on behalf of you as well. That's what makes this worthwhile. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So until next time, guys. Peace.
Bye.